Are we ready? I know I am. So, whether or not you are, it's time for another episode of the IndieTales Game Dev Livestream. Hey, my name is Adam. You are the Pixel Pals. I've already said the name of the show, so without further ado, it's time to go. Welcome everyone to the Thursday edition of the stream. Today we're doing some more Insignia dev, working on boss fights, which I'm pretty excited about. I want to say a big welcome to everybody who's here in chat on Twitch and on YouTube around the world. Big welcome to Epimtus, is that right? Most recent follower, and Castatatus, most recent subscriber. Welcome. All right. So, I could just get straight into it. I've been working on a lot of combat stuff today, particularly the rules of combat that are global in the game. So, we're talking about like very specific rules around like how many times you can juggle an enemy before they get knocked out of it. What are Armin's invincibility frames when he does a parry, stuff like that, where it's something that every enemy is affected by, but and you know, contributes to just, I guess, the balance of the combat system and some of the game feel that comes from those rules. So I've been working on that today. I've also been working on Harriet, specifically the boss fight. Some major updates to her, I guess the way that her fight plays out, just making it a lot tighter. I want to do more on that today, and I think we're in almost a place where like we're on like final polish for this demo, which is pretty good. I'm very happy about that. It's been a long road, but being able to play through it end to end and not really worry about people falling off it or getting bored, I think is, yeah, it's great. Slatefire Games on YouTube says, do you ever get concerned with performance? And do you manage life of all objects that come up during battles? Or is that something that is handled for you in Unity? Oh, performance is not an issue. In a game like Insignia, where the number of like active objects in the scene that do something is in the, dozens maximum, 20 to 30, entities, I guess would be the right word. It's never something you have to worry about. If I was talking about like, if you had a gun in the game that could shoot 100 enemies out of it, then we'd have to think about object pooling and worrying about stuff like that. And I do a lot of object pooling for effects, but it's just not that kind of game. Maybe in something like Enter the Gungeon, or some sort of like very hectic like Dead Cells style roguelike where things were getting spawned all the time and despawned in sort of like an open world setting, then yeah, you would have to definitely worry about performance. But yeah, in this instance, like I'm extremely conservative with my memory already. But even then, like when you defeat an enemy, I just disable them, and they're serialized in the scene. So like there's always going to be this guy here, and that's who he is, and that's what he does, and that's that. There's no extra anything to think about, really. So there's no performance cost, because performance is really an issue. What I guess I'm trying to say here is like, if you have like a stable amount of things in the scene, then you never have to worry about performance, assuming that that number is reasonable. If you define 10 things and there's always going to be 10 things, you're fine. The problem comes from when you've got exponentials. It's like these things, the more there are, the more they can spawn these things, which spawn these things. And it's sort of like out of control at runtime. But nah, not for this kind of game. The way Unity works is I basically have a guaranteed memory clean every single time you walk through a door. So like I've got, in the game engine, I've got scenes, right? Each of these scenes in scene graph, when you walk out of one door and into the next scene, this thing all gets unloaded as you load this. So there's like a little bit of a stutter, but you don't think of it as a stutter because the screen's black. So we fade out, something happens, question mark amount of time, scene loads in, it's all seamless. You never have to, well, the seam is black. I think it's like, because it's presented as like something of a loading screen, that little fade to black as you transition, you sort of don't even really think about it as one. It's sort of like, well, this is just the transition in the story. We left that scene, we fade to black, fade back in. And it's like less than a second that it takes to do that, to unload this whole set of assets and load these ones. And because the game is built out of them, it's not going to accumulate over time. Like that same thing happens every time you enter and exit a new scene. So that kind of performance stuff is just not a consideration for me. I don't have to think about it. If this was like an open world, maybe we'd have to think about streaming assets as you leave. And if we were doing asynchronous loading, maybe we could do something like that where there's no partition. You just sort of walk through here and end up here. But I'm not even interested in making that kind of game anyway for Insignia. I don't think Insignia would be better if this was seamless. Maybe it would be. I mean, that's an example where I probably could justify it. But it feels good to have the break. It's like a permission to feel like you've left a space and now you're going into a new space. All right. So I'm actually working on Harriet right now. And I've done a little bit of an update on her state system. So she's got way less HP for the moment because I'm just debugging her. But I'll give you the skinny on what that looks like. So the fight starts like this. She spawns enemies. She tries to throw these at you. You can dodge them, or you can... if you're really good about it, you can parry them too, but I'm not very good at it. There you go. You can bounce her off the wall, and then she'll try to throw these at you as well whenever you destroy the book. And then she'll go into the third phase when she's got less than a third of HP left. You destroy the book. She'll throw the bookcases at you. Then she'll throw one feather at you and laugh. And when she gets knocked down, she'll reset the state. So you can actually properly juggle her. Ow. Without losing the state. Previously, you were kind of stuck whenever you'd get into the situation. So you can really go to town if you want. Ow. So yeah, that's the sequence. She does have music. I just don't have it playing right now. You want to hear it? The whole game's music is, well, this chapter's music is finished. Hang on, let me put her HP back up. There's a bit of a bug with some of the attacks I've got to tune up, but we'll do that today. So I would have won this fight because I've got her set on invincible at the moment, but that's how it looks. So, I'll turn the music off again. Yeah, there's a bit of polish that I have to do on a lot of these assets because some of them are old, some of them are new. The first thing is I'm not a huge fan of, man, her attack comes out so quickly. It's that slash is just like, look how many frames there are, but it's still too many. If we go check out, pardon me, Harriet, she has phases, common, slash. And then if we look at slash, this is the, it's just set to a basic attack. Okay. And it's Harriet boss attack, which is this. And then it's that. Maybe we could, maybe we could hold on this frame for like a couple more frames. I'm not sure. Or maybe we have to, let me have a look. I guess right now her kind of like animation there when she slashes, it just sort of ends a bit early. So like, yeah, this, it's like she throws it and then it finishes. So in the animation system I've got, I can't continue this trail after she's finished because I have to define what her sprite is doing during that arc. So I want the arc to slow down, but I don't have any way to do that. So I'm going to need some additional frames, which I'm going to grab from somewhere. I don't really have anything like that. I guess I could just draw the exit frames for this. They're a bit muddy, these frames, because they were quite early on in my development. Like this. What is going on here with these arms? I think I was trying to be clever with smearing or something. It just doesn't look very good. I'm just sort of trying to cheese this one a little bit. Because I only need really one frame. Maybe two. What is this? What's going on? Okay. Poor girl's gonna break her arm. Cool. Well, that gives me exactly 1 extra frame. And now you know why I put the music down. I might add 1 more frame here. Right here. Or even just slow down the animation a frame after this one. Wow, what are these layers, bro? Cool. Now, the problem with that is it's going to throw out all of the frame counts for this. But that's okay. We'll make it work. So basically, this, we need to duplicate a frame and then pull all of the frames back in this so that this one goes at the end and is number 10. Yeah, there it is. So now we have an extra frame here. If all we have to do now is, I think, if we slow it down just a little bit more, it'll make it more feasible. So if we make it 9 frames per second, which is not great, it's kind of slow, I think we'll still have a fighting chance here. There we go. Oh, it's too slow. Make it 10. I feel bad for her. Even this, I think, is kind of a little slow. I think it's better. That was cool. Oh no. She wasn't supposed to laugh then. All right. Thanks, Scarlet Cat. So, what did I want to fix about all that? It was working pretty well. I think it would be nice if the books that she threw out in the last phase were like the fire books. Or in general, if all of the books had abilities on them. Maybe if the books were green. Actually, you know what? That'd be sick. Let's do that now. So the gem now, that's got that as the enemy. And I think somewhere we would also need to place the ability that's going to cast this, right? We would need like the ability manager. Special ability, not special ability manager, ability capture manager. With this as the gem, and then the behavior here would be I guess one of the book moth behaviors. Which in this case, the book moth, is it even? It's an enemy, but it isn't a behavior state. And it doesn't have any behavior states. So how am I going to do it? I guess I could just say if it's none, it's active all the time. It needs a state in order to do this. Doesn't it have a thing? No, it's got, it does have an enemy there. It's got a character as well, but it doesn't, what was I plugging into it? Wait a second, huh? Inside gem, enemy, as part of gem, which was public. Why is this private? I guess we could say enemy equals gem dot enemy. And we don't need this anymore. Wait, this is of type enemy. This is of type character. Okay, done. So I need to make sure that these are handled everywhere. So we've got 4 instances where we mention it. It's here. It can be null. That's a good check. It's here. Instead, I think we need to do something here where we say state is null, if is null, or If it's not null, no. What? Okay. I think this is over abstracting that, so let's just go like this. Yeah, cool. Yep, I think that's all of the instances where you mentioned state. So actually now we can afford to have this be null. And now on our book moth, we want to be able to pass it into Harriet as her moth. Where does she take that? Books. There it is. Green book moth. And the book moth has an ensign gem, which has what ability? Arise. That's a good one for now. Let's try that. What? He didn't steal it. Why not? That's interesting. Wait a second. Why do we have this without... I don't know. Let's go check it. So Harriet has a... Or is it the quill? The quill has an ability capture manager with a gem on it. The gem has Harriet as its enemy. And it gives us charge. So why is that wrong? You look like the Silicon Valley guy? You mean Guilfoyle? Or do you mean Ehrlich? I think I'm more of a Richard Hendricks. No, not really. Okay. I do like Guilfoyle. Why is this? Hang on a second. Flying quill start. Machine.set light attack. It's the first thing that happens. Okay. Because the quill doesn't have the enemy shader that it needs. It's got its own material. And it doesn't, that material doesn't have an outline on it. Oh wait, it does. Outline. But why is it set to sprite lit default? Does she have sprite lit default? Ah, enemy. Let's try that. Boom. Okay, we're good. Let's see if that changes anything. It really shouldn't, but... Still no good. This is state.complete. Well, state was never set for this thing. But spawn into world makes, it sets the state as part of it, does it not? Right here. I'm confused. Did I make a mistake where when I changed this gem.enemy and I set this up here, I had it as state character state is the behavior state of the thing that we're trying to parry, which previously was the quill. So why don't I just put it as the quill? Why am I making this complicated? Here's the gem. Here's the quill. Let's go for it. I wonder if this is abusable. Whoa. I guess they could give you wall climb instead. That could be cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, because I've got her as invincible because I'm playtesting it. That's why. I just set her to invincible. Here. She can't die. I'm just testing things out. I think having you fly up the wall is really, really cool. But I also feel like if I was going to do that, I would need to have it set up a bit differently, where instead it was like little, you know, like little level configurations show up. Having it like, not just like you go up the wall, but like having the bookcases be more of like level chunks. They're like tile sets. So she like spawns in a bunch of tile sets and then you have to like climb up them. That would have been cool. But I think for now, maybe like it would be really nice to test all 3 abilities that you learn. That would be like, mwah. Maybe if I make it so that you can't climb up the walls. Oh, you know what? Maybe the small book shelf in the middle doesn't go away when you parry. Because there's one here, like there's phase 2 is a really good opportunity here. So like this phase here would be a really good time to do that. And I think it's fine to do both. I think it's fine. Ow. Cool. I think that's really cool either way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that the book moths right now, they die in one hit. And when they die, you get to keep the ability forever, which is no good. We don't want that. Instead, we want it where like open books flat on the ground that snap shut akin to temporary spikes. That's a cool idea. That's actually a really cool idea. You'd have to attack them to like get rid of them or something. But right now, we're kind of like a bit deep into like be adding new abilities. So instead, I think having it be that the book moth ability is, well, a couple things. One is it doesn't show up in the shader. So here, why does this happen? This is what I don't understand. So the book moth is here. Where's the gem? It's gone. Okay. Well, that's not very good. I guess because it spawns in. Oh, the gem needs to be not invisible, disabled to start. That's the first thing. Damn. The parries and the juggle potential is crazy. All right. So the book moths still don't have the visual on them. So they're going to look green when they're flashing around. They need the enemy material 2, enemy shader 2. No, it should be enemy material, I think. Just like that. It's weird because it works. I guess it's not considered doing the ability. So let's go back to the capture manager. And then we've got the state, and then respond to state. Because there is no, the book moths are not considered real enemies right now. They're kind of a bit fake. They're using an old system. So this enum with the moth state, all that stuff, this is like yucky old stuff that was managing how they how they behave before. Because before I had like the proper behavior system. But the problem is like it works, so I don't want to change it. Maybe what I'll do is I'll make like a dummy state. Do I really like that? Empty state? No. I know I have the concept of a dummy state somewhere. As part of magnetic item, but I can make this more versatile as state. I'll just define it here. Well, let's see if that works. And then the only other thing is that the ensign gem, it's this state that it's trying to set up. In the capture manager, respond. We don't even need this. We can just do that. Okay. We failed. Because we never instantiated it. Okay. Damn it. What's the actual order of events here? Update to respawn book respawn. Let's just try it that way. This is all just a big workaround, just to get the books behaving like other enemies. No. So the machine is null? No, the book moths are the books that fly like moths. This is on awake. I haven't defined an awake. But maybe it's we haven't done awake yet. No, she's attacking you. You're kind of attacking each other, really. It's a bit of a unfortunate situation. Okay, nothing. Where's the book moth? My gosh, co-pilot, you're just in the way. Okay, that's good. So it's awake, but it's still not doing anything. This is the most important thing here. And it's looking for active branch changed. And I'm assuming that this is actually correct, but on awake, maybe this gets reset. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's too, like, initialize is happening too late, or this could be anything stopping this from getting called. Also, this event might not fire unless the new state is different from the old state. So here, when we invoke it, we invoke branch changed during the transition from one state to another. And that transition happens unless only if we're overriding, which we are doing. So it should do that. It should get to here. Should get to here. Let's see if we can find this invoke happening. It might just say machine. Yeah, state machine. Okay, so there is a change happening to dummy state. That's really, really, really good. So something is happening. The next thing we got to check is on the ability capture manager, when this subscribes, we need to know that the enemy is a thing. And then also here, we need to know who the enemy is. So we need to know that that event is coming through, because it might not even be the same event once we instantiate it. Okay. Hey, subscribe. Ooh, subscribing to Green Bookmoth straight away. That's the first thing that happens. And there's nothing that we can do to make it respond because it's just stuck in that state. I wonder if I can force this. Check this out. There we go. Now, I don't want to be doing it that way. But that would be an easy way to do it. Can I cheese this? Also, what's happening right now? I don't think we properly respawned. Okay, well, we can fix that. All right. It is made out of books. Do I like designing enemies? I do, but not as much as I thought I would when I first started working on this game. It's not that enjoyable, to be honest. It's enjoyable fighting them and getting them in a good spot, but designing the AI, it's sort of annoying, to be honest. I don't love it. So respawn gets called once. Wait a second. And again? She never calls it again. What the hell? What the hecky? Well, it's active in the scene. Where are you, brother? You're here. What the heck? Sprite render is off. Keeps going off. HP is what? 0. Okay. So does this not set the HP where it needs to go? Maybe we do that. I would think respawn first. But maybe we call awake first. Yeah, maybe that's better. Okay, let's try it. I can what the heck? I can't find the instance. Hey, JPK. Thank you so much for checking out the stream. I'm not sure if the book moth is getting... Yeah, the respawn's getting called the first time. And then it's not getting respawned after that. So why is this not even... It's not even getting called, mate. Not even trying. So Harriet, boss, respawn, book, b.respawn. B is bookmoth, b.respawn. That's this. It's literally calling that, bro. It's literally calling this function. If b.machine state is null, b.set state bookmoth cast. What? Oh yeah. That's fine. Maybe it's the wrong respawn? I don't... I don't know. It's possible that before it was of type enemy. No, but this was recently working. It doesn't suddenly stop calling the correct instance of the function. My brother. Well, oh, it's still technically active in this scene? What if I did this? Oh, I see. Very, very, very strange. Why doesn't it despawn on death? Oh, because I'm doing this thing. I'm being stupid. It's literally the last thing I did. It's this. Oh, Harriet's portrait's not quite right yet. This portrait's a bit wrong. The health bar's also not in the right spot. Okay, well, that's there. But now I think this will work. Okay. The problem is... I know an easier way we could cheat it. There we go. If we're not doing dummy state and machine... and we're not doing death state, then set dummy state. Because what we were doing was, I think, accidentally cancelling out the death state with the dummy state. Okay. I don't know what this has to do with... I don't know why this isn't triggering the thingo. The ability capture manager, I mean, this should be pretty consistently calling it. Unless I just pass it in manually, that I could just force it. Active branch changed. I mean, literally on book moth. On awake. I could just force it. Now you have no excuses. Hiya! Hiya! Yeah. I hate that you can't see the fight because of my face in the way. Let's try something. Is that weird? Still no good. Still somehow not calling the right function. Oh, ages, Matty man. Ages. More than a year. At least. Probably not even Steam Next Fest until we're like 6 months out from release. Like, it's not even, please wishlist, but like, please don't expect the game to come out anytime soon. Because we don't have a publisher yet. I don't have a budget. I'm just working on it as, this is like a 10-person game that I'm working on as one person. So there's just no reason to expect it to come out anytime soon. Why don't we just do that? Yeah, I'm not a 10x. I'm just a really good 1x. Okay, that's good. Boom. Okay. Good. But then still no. Still no. It must be that the state machine, when I respawn this, it must be that this loses connection with the state machine. Because there's no other way to describe it. There's no other way to explain what's happening. In fact, where is the gem? The gem is over here. Its enemy is still the quill. Oh no, that's got the quill object. But this gem has the book moth as its object. And actually, oh, what the heck? Wait a second. No. The ability capture manager is here. This is the capture manager. And so this is constantly checking to see if the thing has been added. But maybe it can't be receiving. It must have lost the active branch changed. Machine, does that get reset at any point? On the book moth? What about respawn? What about enemy respawn? No. Wait, there is a function called respawn and a state called respawn, and we set respawn if respawn is not null. I don't think the book has a respawn state, which means respawn event.invoke animator.sprite renderer enable die time. I mean, root state is root state. Root state equals what? Oh, on a wake of state machine core, root state gets reset. That will do it. So book moth awake does base.awake if we haven't been awakened. And when it does that, it clears this, ruins everything. So let's take it away. In fact, why do we even need this? Let's not even bother. Pros and cons, Enchanted Cloud. Pros are, if you have a publisher, more work gets done by more people, and the amount of money the game makes is typically bigger. Cons, you get less of the money, proportionally. Self-publishing, you have to do everything yourself. I think it's, for this kind of game, good to have a publisher. I would love to be in a position where I didn't need one. Okay, 1. Damn it, I still can't get this goddamn thing to keep the green. Can you expect to have made more money out of your game even when the publisher gets their cut? Yeah, I mean, I've spent a... Hey, listen, buddy. It's been 8 years. I've certainly considered the 30%. Yeah. Yes. Basically, with a publisher, you expect that, like, the right publisher, I mean, there's two things, right? One is, like, can you finish the game without funding? For me, I don't think I can finish this game without funding, unless, like, the thing that would have to stop a publisher from being worth it for me would be that the community here, IndieTales, and the community around the game grows to such a degree that I don't need to, that there's some sort of funding path, whether it's Kickstarter or early access, where I can continue to support my team, like 100K, 10K AUD a month would be the minimum to fund the Insignia project until release, in my opinion. 10,000 Australian dollars a month. That money can't come from nowhere. If it comes with a publisher, then, and there's a broad question here about when you take funding for anything, you are basically like getting into bed with that entity. And that includes crowdfunding. So if you're, working with a publisher, the hope is that the publisher's money, right, when they invest in your project, they are the most qualified entity that could invest in a project because they understand what it takes to make games. They have skills that they can use to leverage to make the game sell better when it comes out. They'll give you the space to make sure that, what you're doing is viable. An angel investor might have nothing to add other than their money. right? They might not really understand what successful game dev looks like. They might not know whether you're doing a good job or not. They might be flaky. Who knows what happens with an angel investor? So it's like fewer strings, but like you might need those strings to hold on to, you know? Then with crowdfunding, it's like, well, you're at the mercy of the mob, right? If the mob starts to get the impression or the thought that they don't like what you're doing, now they pull the funding just because, or maybe they think you'll never release the game. You know, like there's all kinds of things that can happen with just relying on the impressions of gamers to fund your project. So for me, like ideally, a solid publisher, a good publisher with a good catalog that really believes in the project is still the best way to fund this game. With a very typical release, very straightforward, maybe even box copies, that kind of thing. Classic game release, makeup. Multiple releases in different regions, same day, different languages supported, typical QA process, that kind of stuff. That's what I want to do. The only way I would consider crowdfunding is if it was so lump sum or so obviously going to result in the end game being funded fully that there was just no need to worry about like maximizing profit, I guess. Like if we were getting like some stupid number like 30K funding a month because of, let's say we were on early access and the people were just loving the game, right? Everyone wants to play it every month. We're selling 1,000 copies of the game in early access for like the next 2 years. That would fund the development. But then obviously that's just the development. So now we wouldn't need to recoup. That would be good. But then profit wise, like I'd expect there to be more sales after that, hopefully, if the game came out. So then you're kind of eating into your profit to fund the game, which is happening either way. Like with a publisher, they're going to eat into your profits in order to recoup their losses. So it's really just a question of can you actually convince enough people to care about your game before release? Maybe I can, but I haven't explored that, and I feel like it's quite risky because if it fails, if I try to do some sort of campaign or I say, hey everyone, now's the time, wishlist Insignia or buy Insignia early access, that's going to fund development, and then it doesn't quite turn out, a publisher's not going to turn around and say, looks great, let's publish it. Because they're going to go, well, looks like you've just proven that your demand isn't there, so why should we take a bet? Well, just a solid boutique publisher with like a good history. That's really all it is. Like a good classic publisher. Like Epic. I haven't considered Epic, but I mean, they would be expecting me to use Unreal, I would imagine. Okay. So, Ability Capture Manager has an update loop. What I want to see is if enemy I guess we could force it. Or, I mean, God, if we really want, we could just hard call this from the book moth. Could literally just do this. Why don't I make it easy? Then we don't even need the dummy state. Seems like it's a stressful situation. I don't know. I'm sort of, this is like, I mean, yes. How do I put this? Extremely. However, I'm doing everything that I can to grow as a person, to get to a place where I can go the distance, no, where I can actually survive with that level of stress. That's that's what I'm working towards. Because like, that's the world I live in. I've chosen that path. So like, I need to be better at this. So why didn't this work? If state is not null, if branch contains state, what the heck is going on here? B, if owner equals enemy. Ooh, that's a problem. Okay, maybe on respawn then. We just forced to call that function. Bro, I cannot get this thing to go. I just can't do it. Oh my gosh, I'm suffering here. It's such a simple thing that I want. And it's a problem that I'm just trying to do a slight workaround. And I'm making it so hard for myself. I mean, I learned to code partly at school, partly at uni, partly through my own exploration over like a decade and a half. So it takes a long time. Okay. We could say capture manager dot gem dot return home. Return to source. And we could also say if this is not null. And I feel like I'm still learning to write. It's the difference between, like, when you say learning to code, I like to split that up into two things. It's like learning to write the code and learning to be a writer of code. Does that make sense? Like someone who's a writer in their job, it's more than the fact that they just know how to write. Okay, what else can I do here to force this? I could just call activate. How about that? How about we do that? If that doesn't work, I'm just... I'm gonna have to recompile and see if I missed something. That always gets me. Okay, we want to see if the green shows up. Okay, that's much better. Yeah, cool. So now, this return to source, we need to go even higher up to the special ability manager, and we need to spend gem. Release all gems? Not release all gem. Return gem to enemy. That's what we want. We want to call that special ability manager dot instance s dot return gem to enemy this. So actually they're going to steal it off Armin. So now I can't use it. What happens now? Yeah, cool. It's a little unfair. That's no good either. Cool. Okay. So... when do we set this outline? Maybe I can force it that way. Hey, Wooliest. How's it going? Please, please, please. She's not even trying. Okay, well... why? It's active in the scene. It's right here. It probably shouldn't be active in the scene, but it is. That's because this enemy in the ability capture manager, when I call activate, if activate isn't ready yet, then I mean, we can force that, maybe. There would have been a faster way to do that. I could have put it in one line with a question mark after enemy, but... Do you know what else would have been really smart? If I just spawned a book earlier. Okay, we got it. It's there. I don't like that either. I guess she keeps spawning them. And I guess she was spawning them based on the fact that she has this spawn book going here, which was in her third state. If we're doing idle and bookcases are deployed and this has to be not active in the hierarchy to do that. Wait, this should check here. Nope, okay. Okay. Oh, what's happening here? On respawn. That should be okay. We should be able to get past that. You know what? I'll just set this up so you can see it at least. That looks good. Cool. Oh, perfect. And she doesn't keep respawning it? Perfect. Okay. Not bad. I feel like the bookcases would just be better if there was only one or two patterns. And she was always in the middle. By the way, why is Armin beating this girl in her place, the library. What did she do to him? You have to play the story to find out. So, yeah, the other thing was the quill object equals pos, and pos in this case is, yeah, that's fine. Armin did not like the rule of quiet. No spoilers. Okay. So I think this happens when? End quill curve. There's a thing where I feel like it's, well, I know that this is the case. It's going to the spline's start position here, and then the spline flips depending on what we're doing. Hey, bit by bit. Yeah, right here. So actually, what I would really prefer to do is have the transform position while we're inactive, which I should check to see if the game object becomes inactive. Let's go set our HP back to a normal amount that's easier to test with. Okay. All right, maybe not. Maybe that's too much or not enough HP. Just destroy her like that. So, where is the quill right now? The spline is there, that's fine. It's disabled. Okay. Now, there is a problem with that, which is that the gem that is associated with this object is going to be where it is. This gem is the book moth gem. This gem is the Harriet quill gem. When we lose this, when I do that, the gem is going back to some position. And I think that position is, well, I don't know where that is actually. Good screenshot. I don't know where this position is. That's a really good question. This is in the gems return home thing. Ensign gem. Return to source. Where does that go? I'm imagining it's like the last place. Absorbed target, and the target is public, so we should be able to check that actually. Center sprite anchor, which is right there. Floating mark UI, Harriet quill object. So it is going to where the quill object is. Okay. So my hope would be that I could move that quill object to Harriet's position whenever it's not active. That would be my hope. That would be my hope. If I can do that, then we're all good. So that still works. That's good. Ow. It's got double comboed by that stupid thing. Okay. Just casually kill 3 enemies at the same time. That's good. That's good. I also don't like that that color is red when the gem's traveling. Yeah, good. That's exactly where it needs to go. Cool. Okay, good. All right. It is. It's a shelf of books. Okay. So ads. Actually, let's just do a double check that we can fight these books in the level before we fight her. So if I'm running around, this guy should still be able to pop out, fly around, I kill it, nothing bad happens. Good. No errors. Oh, some errors. To do with the book moths. Okay. Not sure if we need to worry about them. They're not critical. They're not hurting anything. Nothing's behaving differently. Oh, nothing to do with the books. The books seem fine. Okay, great. These bookcases here, it might be nice to use the new bookcases. I mean, even in the version that, even in the ones that I hear, these are like from 2017, actually. All of these bookcases are. And the ground is also. Okay. Dependency. Okay. So what we're going to do is, I think, take puzzle room, file, save as, call it arena, call it araña, and just put it like that. Not quite there yet. Is that really all of it? I might need a custom. I could do a custom background for this. I mean, a custom like foreground and background. Actually, what zoom level are we at? .35. So we actually could pull out. The camera could pull out. If we wanted to, at some point. We could do like this, and then you're fighting in this view. Wait a second. Okay. All right, so when do we have the flame? What is this? Sorry, one sec, pals. Gotta answer a message. Okay. So, this quill. Where the hell are you, buddy? Harriet quill object. I'm going to put it here. This needs to be organized, this scene. A bit hard to look at. So, it's got this ability. Charge ability. And ability to process effect curve event. Right, for what this ability is. Right. So damage, this thing here is the difference. It's this Boolean. And it gets set by something. Follow spline state. Okay. So when does this get set? It gets referenced exactly once. And it gets set here when we call enter spline. But what about when we're not doing that? What other states do we have? Looks like we don't have any other states. So what the hell's happening here? Okay. Well, she's got her retro thing here. These are the properties. This just has a velocity curve. When does the quill... I am listening to the music, yeah. We're listening to a Wind Waker track. Is it Dragon Roost Island? All right. So what, how do we know, how does she know? How does the quill know to follow this curve? How did I do that? As far as she's concerned, the slash is just a basic attack called slash. And the quill comes out whenever she does it. There's this update effect thing. Update effect position. Process quill. Oh, okay. Okay. So when this gets called, the quill becomes active in the scene. All right. And it uses light attack to do that. Great. And when it is doing light attack, it cycles the color between the different colors that it has. And it has this emission variable that gets set at some point. So when we exit, this emit is true on follow spline state. And damage is true on follow spline state. And then emission is false when? Because what we want is emission but no damage. Sprite material set color, or is it assign trail ability emission point? Emission point position false. Process effect curve event. Oh man, this is really odd. I can't tell the difference between these two things. I think this is Ensign Trail Manager. I think that makes more sense. So this is if damage is turned off. So now we need to check damage. When does that become true and false? True is there. It never becomes false. That's why. Okay. So then when Harriet does this, I think we just need to say that. Oh, so much work. Boss fight. This boss fight in particular is way too complicated. In before, the next boss fight's actually a duo boss fight between two bosses at the same time. Man, come on. You. What's wrong? What did I do? Excuse you. Maybe it's because this update effect position is not being called by Harriet. Because processed effect curve event is not being called by whatever it's doing. No, but it is. It is doing that. It is doing that because she's using the same ability. Unless I took it off. Unless, no, because it's literally, it's visible in the scene and it's moving around. So this is happening. This could be happening. Oh. Okay. Doing light attack. Okay, so what's different here when we do light attack? Cycle color happens when? On update. So like all the time. This thing's happening all the time. Whenever it's visible. Okay. Emission must be false. Emission must be false. And why does emission get set to false? It has to be that. Emission is false when we exit. Okay. So we go all the way back to here. Mission is true. Hey, it's back. Okay, now we're good. Oh shit. Hey, thanks for the sub. Welcome. Art Zeus says, hey, quick question. How does Adam handle switching between menu, game, and levels? I struggle keeping persistent objects and starting in different scenes, like skipping the menu when playing in the editor without breaking things. What is your menu doing that you need to do before you load into the game? Why can't you just load in? Like, what's stopping you from just picking a scene and pressing play on it? Do you have like a character creation thing that you need to do? The way I've got it set up is like, I have my menu scenes. Then I have my game scenes. And the way it works for me is that one of these is save select. Okay. So the presumption is, okay, if I wanted to start the game properly, I'd go into the title screen, I'd choose a bunch of things, I'd go into save select, and then I would load into some place in the game. But I want to be able to just drop in here and play test. So the question is, what asset, what thing does this create? What kind of metadata do you need to run into the game to play it? And what I do is I have a fake save file that I just load whenever I'm here. Whenever I load into this, I just load this editor save file. And actually, I've got a bunch of these editor save files. And I use them for when I'm testing different scenarios. It's like, oh, I want to test if it's the morning of the first day, I'll load this editor save. And if it's the morning of the second day, I'll load into this one. And in each of these scenes exists a singleton called what I call game engine. Most people call the game manager. The game manager, this thing is accessible to all of these scenes. No, like in the story, first day, second day. So all of these have access to this singleton and, well, this singleton, and it is marked as do not destroy on load, I think it is. So basically this thing exists in a separate scene to all of these when the game starts. Actually, it is in all of them, but then once you start, the one that comes, like, let's say you load into this scene, the singleton jumps out of the scene into its own little place because of this thing, and then it stays in that little place, visible to all of these scenes, no matter what I'm doing as I'm jumping around. You can see that here. So, see here, game engine. It's a prefab, so it's the same everywhere. There it is there, game engine. When I press play, it disappears. It's actually down in this second scene called Don't Destroy on Load. Don't Destroy on Load is where I hold all of my instances for, I have game engine and I have game system. Game system handles everything that needs to be accessible from anything in the entire application. So one thing that needs to be accessible from everything in the entire application is the sound system. So like I've got Fmod running. Doesn't matter if you're in a menu scene or if you're in a game scene or if you're in whatever. You need access to the audio output. So that exists on a singleton called game system. The difference between what I call game engine and game system is game system is also a singleton and it's also don't destroy on load. Game system. But this one exists even in these scenes, even in the menu scenes. And the reason why I've got these two separate is because game engine handles stuff to do with the player. There's no player in these scenes. They're just menus. So anything that has to do with like the video game parts of it, like where there's gameplay, that's handled by game engine. Anything that's like system specific, like the save data is stored, these little save dudes, when I load up the game, they go into that. Well, the one that I've picked gets stored there. And these still have access to that, but it's up here at this like highest possible abstraction layer. The global, it's like the global scope. Whereas this thing, this game engine, if I go back to the title screen, this gets deleted. But this handles everything to do with like where we are in the world. Whether to play the quest started, like modal. The game menu. This holds that when you press pause, right? all of that stuff only exists in scenes where the player can run around in. Otherwise, the game menu doesn't exist here. It's just the settings and stuff. So like, for example, the game menu is this one. You can't get here from anywhere. You can't get to here from here. You can't, if I press pause, that doesn't show me that menu. And there's no player here. So I don't need to hold any information relating to the player. It's only once I get to here, this scene, that I need to do all this stuff. So when I press quit, engine gets deleted. Can you change the UI scale in the game? The player can't, unfortunately, no. I don't have a setting for that yet. I don't really intend to have one, but we'll see. Some of the fonts are a little bit too big for the pixel art, but we'll see what happens. How do you come up, says Henry Rosales, with the design for the boss fights? Oh, dude, this boss fight is like an 8-year-old boss, and the design for it started so long ago that it's been so iterative. I just keep adding to it and changing it and tweaking it. If I can give you a hint, this is like a huge game design hack, okay? Don't design your boss fights until you've designed your player abilities. There's just no point. Don't even think about the bosses until you know what the player can do. So like your goal should be to, when you design your game, it should be like this. First, you design a player character. You design what they can do, what kinds of moves they can do, or what, abilities they can have. Maybe you have like a dash that lets you jump across gaps, right? That's a pretty common one for a platformer. Once you have this, the next thing you design is levels. So it's abilities first, then levels that test the abilities, right? The levels test the abilities. Inside of the levels, you have enemies, if you're making a game like mine. And the enemies also are opportunities to test the abilities. It's like level geometry, enemy stuff, that tests the abilities that the player has. Then you can make all your puzzles and whatever. Then you have your boss, which comprises parts of the things that the player has learned from playing against those levels and enemies. This is like the showcase of all of the things that you just learned as the player. So the boss design is happening in the best scenario, I think, for this kind of game. The boss design is happening all the way back here when you design a cool ability for the player. Because as soon as you go, oh, the ability is across a cool gap that you couldn't reach otherwise. Now in your boss fight, that's your opportunity to say, oh, okay, we should have something happen in the arena where there are gaps. Now the player can use that cool ability that we designed for them in the boss fight to get an advantage or whatever. Maybe the arena gets broken up and stuff like that. The ideas come a lot easier if you're working backwards from what the player can do and not starting with a cool thing that happens in the game, in the boss fight. Because if you design, like the way I did it was I was like, it's a librarian, she has bookshelves, she drops the bookshelves on you. It was like interesting, but I didn't have any of the cool abilities at the time. So there was nothing that kind of mechanically led up to that boss fight in a way that felt satisfying. It was just like, oh, I guess now you're in this fight and this fight's about this thing. It wasn't like a natural crescendo up to, using all of the tools you just learned. But now it is. It's like in chapter 1, you've learned parry, so you get to use that. You've obviously learned like combos and directional attacks. There's no directional attacks in this fight because it's a bit of an advanced concept. I don't task the player too much with it. But if you're really smart, you can launch, you can do air attacks, that kind of thing. Then I have ability stealing, and I give you two options here. You can either use the ability and use platforming to get over. I just added that now. Or we can use the parry again to steal this ability, and now we can do cool stuff here. And then finally, it's dodge roll. So she's going to do this. We can roll out of the way, and then we can use abilities to get up, or the wall jump to get up. Same thing. So I'm showcasing now all the things that the player just learned how to do. Particularly stealing and using abilities is the big one now. Okay. So, what was next in the fight? We haven't done this yet. It's now 4:19. We are here today. We have a boss fight start. That's already pretty set up. We don't have a boss fight end. That'd be nice to add as well. The health bar anchor shouldn't take us too long. And then the boss fight ending would be pretty easy to do once we get it right. And then I've got to go at like 5:45 today. All right, I'm going to take a break and we'll come back in a bit and we'll add the boss fight ending and we'll fix up the health bar. See you in a bit. Yo. Okay. So. Cool. Let's fix it. I wonder if I can take the hat off. And still... Maybe I need an original portrait here. It would be this one. Or... Alternatively, we could just take the book away. We could take this away altogether. And then in the boss fight container... I'm not actually sure why it's not showing up. There is a boss health bar right here. Really? Wait a second. Wait, where's life bar? Does this not happen? Good morning. Oh, okay. Well, we're just not calling setup on this thing. Wait, what? Right. Maybe we could just force it that way. Okay. Or, alternatively, nothing bad, nothing can happen. Z-cam. Z camera. Well, actually, there is a zone camera that we can plug into this, so I might as well do that. It's somewhere. Here, where are you, buddy? In arena. Okay, so container. I should put the container on the arena. Shouldn't I do that? Then I don't need this. And then this is there. And then the camera goes there. And then I can do this. Nice. It's not as nice, isn't it? Is it? It's pretty lame without her face. I could do something where like I still use the diamond, but I put her face in it. I know everyone likes the books. Well, it's whether or not to use in the game, pardon me, a generic boss bar with maybe some flourishes that are different, or a custom boss bar. To be honest with you, I think we might have to go for the generic. I'm sure everyone loves the books. I love the books, but I'm getting the sense that it's not going to be feasible to do that. So like for her, because the way that it is right now, I know the books, I love the books. Well, this is the thing. I need to start getting like pretty brutal with like finishing the game. And if I give every single boss their own health bar, then, you know, we're talking about 15, 16 health bars, just that are all custom, you know. Whereas this is like, you know, it is what it is. It's right here. And then, you know, I'd love to be able to put, at the very least, you know, maybe a portrait here for the character. So I could take Armin's one. Hang on a second. Boss health bar. Disable it. We could definitely take the same one that Armin has. And we could set it up to be a mirror image of this, and then we could put their portrait here. And maybe we could even do like facial expressions when you do damage to them. That I can do because I already have the portraits. So that's like pretty feasible. So they will be custom, just in a different way. Custom in a way that's repeatable. You want asset reuse. So something like that. Maybe. So, Harriet portraits, you know, like it would be cool if this here, if we flatten this, was maybe, gosh, it's so big. Really? Damn, big portraits, huh? Well, there goes that idea. I mean, I could shrink them. If we sprite size, scale this by 300, and then take this and scale it by 200. Then you get this, which at this point I would be like, let's do it. How do I like Aseprite? I've been using Aseprite for about 12 years and I am in love with it. So I am absolutely the wrong person to ask if you wanted something that was, if you wanted a balanced take. I'm not your guy because I love it. I think it's great. I've been using it since like 2014. I've watched it grow and change. It's like, I know the developer these days. We're on good terms. But it's good. I mean, that's why. Ultimately, I like it because it's good. It's the most straightforward sprite editor you'll ever get. And there are no features of it that are weird or hard to use. And there's only, I would say, one guy who I know who does anything with pixel art that Aseprite doesn't do. So the only thing that it doesn't do, is object-based transforms. You can't like create a sprite like you can't be like, I'm gonna make a sword. Here's the sword. And now I'm going to animate this sword by taking it and moving it on this frame and this frame and this frame. But then if I go back to frame 1 and I change something about it, it's going to change on frames 2, 3, and 4. Even with the rotations. It doesn't do that. It doesn't create like asset. It doesn't create symbols like not After Effects, like Flash. So your animations are always destructive in that sense. But it's very rare. It's very rare that you would need to do that with pixel art. Like there are apps that do it though, where you define a layer. You say, okay, this is my sword layer. And then on frame 2, I'm going to have sword layer rotated by 15 degrees. And then on frame 1, I'm going to go and change sword layer by adding this to it. And then the 15 degrees rotated sword layer automatically gets that. It doesn't do that. Pixel Edit does that. I think, maybe. You can like set it up to do that. But Pixel Edit's not very intuitive otherwise. I don't really like it very much. It's what my associate, fellow streamer Joe Creates uses. I don't know if it's like much better these days. It's just like much less, Aseprite has a sheen to it that feels very like you're supposed to be making pixel art in it. It's like this was designed for you to make pixel art. And everything has this nice, the UX, UI of it just feels like it's unbreakable. And like it's quite like natural in how it reacts to what you want to do. The only thing it doesn't have is you can't really like arrange things. So you can't like take this panel and move it over or anything like that. The UI is fixed. You can hide certain things, but yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts. So here's my little test I want to do. Wait, that doesn't look too... Was it really that big? I guess it's pretty big. And I wanted it like this size, I guess. I have played with Godot. Does Ace Sprite have this feature?
Everyone, put down your drinks. Are you ready for our final sneak?
You want me to watch this?
Aquafina, you ready? I'm ready.
Yeah. I've seen this before.
And then I can just rotate the shape by simply dragging the slider.
That's pretty cool though.
I love this audience. Let's wait for the progress bar to finish. Then I can just turn the dragon around like this.
Pretty cool.
That's it. And people can just turn the dragon around like Okay, now I think the shape of the bed is too simple, and I want to add more details to the bed. And luckily, I don't have to edit all the beds one by one. So, and then the beds have horns.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
This is product. And then I can simply click the update views button.
Damn.
Now all the beds have horns.
I might need Illustrator. So cool. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this doing what I want. I don't want to break the pixel purity of it. But like this... Oh wait, hang on. Hang on. Wait a second. Oh, it's not that bad. Why did I think it was way bigger? That's like doable. What happens in like 720p though? That's still totally reasonable. That's fine. So I guess I'm going to commit with that. Although it looked a little awkward. Maybe that's just the drawing. It's not very clean. Wait, what's going on here? Are these pixels not the same size? What's happening, buddy? What is this? What is happening? That's super weird. Is the pivot off? Oh, the pivot is off. I actually know that for a fact that it is. Wait, but it's set to a really nice pixel position. So wait a second. The pivot's not got anything to do with it. What? Wait, set native size. Oh, that's the problem. That's why it looked so much smaller, because it wasn't set to native size. If I set the scale to 0.5, we get something that looks back to normal, but this pixels are different sizes now. We go back to pixels. So now it's way too big. Yeah. It was a cool idea. That would have been really fun. No, it's the same. That's how it was in both. But I wouldn't want to scale it. And I mean, I think everybody's portrait's that big. Pretty much the same. You know, like maybe if it was just the head, no hat. You know, if it was like just that size, you could put that there. That's very Kingdom Hearts. And then like we take the hat off her for this particular fight, just for that, because she's not wearing it in the battle. Hypothetically. Let's just say. Like that's okay. But any bigger and we'd be way off. I wouldn't be able to do it. It's just that this would require me to do separate portraits for every character at that point. I like it. I mean, this is the kind of thing you see in like Street Fighter. In Street Fighter, they might do it more like this. Did they just do the eyes? Oh no. So see here. I think that's actually a decent compromise. Does she not fly to the top? Would the faces hide her? No, the HUD would be higher than her. The HUD is locked to where the camera is, so when the camera... don't worry about that part. That's not of your concern. I like this a lot, actually. It could be cool putting it like... The thing is, Armin doesn't really have anywhere for me to place that. There's no like nice place for me to put it other than dead inside of his thing. But I feel like you couldn't really, I mean, on top maybe. See ya. You might want a bit more than that though, like somebody mentioned. It's too tall. Yeah, like I wouldn't do the mouth. It would have to be just this and then that. Because otherwise, what we end up with is just this, which I think isn't good enough. It would have to be like a title at that point. You know, something like Harriet the Executioner or something like that. Not that she would be called that, but you know what I mean? You'd need like a longer thing. Both in the middle with the VS. That's actually not the worst thing in the world. I was thinking about having a VS. Well, that's the other thing, is the health bars are currently, they're proportionate to... I mean, we could temporarily just extend Armin's max so that they both reach to here. Not like his health would be the same, but the bar would extend all the way.
Versus. Ready? Fight.
Round one. I would never do this, by the way. Just so you all know. This is like not in the question. We're not going to do this. I'm just having a bit of fun. But I do like it, just so you know that too. I like it. I just don't think we'll do it. It could be something we start the fight with. That could be cool. I do have something that you haven't seen yet that actually makes this work way more. Oh, and I took it out. You want to see something? This is going to be in the game. Portrait like that when she does the special attack. Popping in from the side. It's somewhere here. I don't know where it is. It's Harriet boss fight BG. No, it's not there. I think it's like Harriet full screen. Harriet boss special portrait. Yeah, it's not very good because it's like a giant. I did it pretty dumb. Like that. But I can do this with like a Unity timeline or something. Yeah, when she throws the quill at you, that's when it happens. All right, well, let's have a think. No, that's not what I wanted. What happens if I integer this? Oh, it gets a lot tighter. Not bad though for 720p. Cool. You love the extra portraits. Wait, you're saying here? You love these? I'm not sure we can do it. I think I'm going to have to put the title below. I think that's the first thing. Because I put Armin's chips there, his little abilities go below the text. So that's the equivalent piece of info, is the name of the boss. Because you're going to have equipment and stuff that sits in that spot. Yeah, I don't really want to do that though. I don't really want to do another portrait. So I added combat in my game using Bracky's tutorial, but the hit registers before my animation can fully play. Another issue I have is that the animation doesn't restart when I hit the enemy, so it looks super weird, like my hits are delayed. How do I fix these issues? You need to build a system, really. You're getting to the point where you now are interested in doing like hitboxes. If you have animation frames where the sword doesn't appear until frame 4 or whatever, now you need some sort of system where you can time the hitbox to appear on frame 4. For example, if you have an animation trigger, like an event in Unity's timeline, in the animation controller, or you need a custom system. Like I've got one that I built called Retrobox, and I can say on frame 5, this thing happens. But you need to start, that's if you want to go that far. Otherwise, you have to have no animation. So you just got like an attack, like the original Zelda 1, when you press the attack button, the sword just appears, in front of him. You just like that. If you don't want to have to cue the animation timings. Well, welcome to game dev, buddy. Welcome to game dev. You want to do combat? You need to build. What the heck? You need to build a combat system. What just happened to my voice? Bill. All right. So what are we doing now? I have to go soon, but I still want a way to make this like custom. And I'd like the boss title to be a little bit more far along than her Like right now, I feel like we could do... All right, I'm just going to hard code it. Boss title. Just like that. So then here in the boss arena, I'm just going to leave that. Then we need to pass in all right, this is Harriet, and then I've got one more, that's the 100. Okay. And then I mean, the way that you learn is literally what you're doing right now. You know, you're sort of going through this process where you're like, I need something. What do I do? That's exactly what you're supposed to run into. It's like, okay, because this is the thing. If you were just to read the engine docs, you'd be sitting there reading forever. You're not actually going to learn the things that you really, really need. Whereas here, it's like, okay, I'm building a game. I have a thing that I don't know how to do. What do I do? That's perfect. That's now you have a task. It's been dropped into your lap, you know? You have a thing that you need. Time to learn how to do it. Google, YouTube. That's all there for you. It's good that you have a specific question, but it's really important as well to recognize that sometimes when you work this way, if you're like this, where you're sort of going one question at a time, you may find yourself in a position where you have to learn a cascading number of things, right? So it's like you learn this and you think, oh, is that what I had to learn? And then actually, no, you had to learn this thing too. Oh, now do I know everything I needed to know? Nope, actually, you need to learn this thing too. And the trouble is getting discouraged when that happens. Try not to get discouraged. It just means that you knew less than you thought you did. It doesn't mean you're bad at planning. It doesn't mean anything. It's gonna be a big journey. You're gonna find yourself doing that a lot, where you go, wait a second. I thought I was so close to learning how to do this thing. Now you're telling me I gotta learn this? The answer is yes, you do also have to learn that. Yeah, set your expectations so low. In fact, try to make something smaller first. Hey, Drama Dark Lemon. I removed it because I'm not sure that I can sustain that as a feature. Like every boss, am I going to give them their own health bar? For now, there are a few other problems with it. Like, for example, her old health bar has a portrait that, I mean, I could do this still, but the problem is that if I take this away and this away, let's just say that's the portrait or whatever. Okay, if I flatten visible and take that, I'm not sure that's going to fit in here. So it's not a bad idea to put a window here where we can kind of just put whatever, but it's not going to be easy to do that because the portraits are a different size now. So you're not even getting anything there. Yeah, but then I still have to commit to having a custom health bar for every major boss in the game. At least 5. And I like it too, but I'm just not sure that I can commit to it right now. So I'm taking it out. I can always bring it back, but I'm taking it out for now. I'm just trying to see what I can do because I might have lots of different bosses now. Like I'd like to have the criteria for a boss to be lower so it's easier for me to make bosses. And then at the end of the game, if I can make some bosses super bosses or whatever, then maybe we can do custom UI and stuff for them. But I'm trying to make the game releasable. You know, I'm trying to get to a point where we can actually release this thing. I can't believe you're all asking me to keep my scope creep. Do you think that the boss health bars should descend the opposite direction? From this way back? I think they should. What happens if I just... Wow, that easy, huh? For real? I didn't see... The orange isn't showing up. One sec, pals. So this, let's have a look at the boss fight container. It is a what? It is a health, it is a combat bar. And the combat bar, back value anim, has a bit of a delay on it. Let's just see what happens when I subtract this. They both have a, I think it's a shader called fill amount. So this is the value, and then the backing value is here, and that's... Oh, they're just shrinking at the exact same rate. Okay. Why? Oh. Oh, it's a percentage thing. If you do less than a certain percentage, it doesn't react. Oh, well, okay. So chip damage doesn't, oh, okay. Oh, great. Oh, that was easy. I don't like how that's red. I don't know why it's red, but it is red. I think it's because the last thing we just interacted with was red. So this is gem. Let me just save this. Okay. Um, I think the problem is that when we instantiate an effect for the first time, the particle system may not remember these particles that you're seeing here. They're red. And that's fine. But these ones here, so that's green and that's good too. This is fire, so that's no big deal. But that, oh, that should be red. That's fine. That return was red, but it should have been green. And this is an effect trail, I'm imagining. That's what this is. Yeah. Oh, it's actually red. It's still just red. It hasn't even been told to be green. Okay. Well, that's interesting. There's this thing that it's trying to do. When does it assign effect properties? Oh, it needs to do this like a lot more often. There we go, fixed it. Okay. So I think the only problem here with any of this is to do more with this scene loaded thing. That's at the end of the fight. So actually, otherwise that works just fine. Cool. This boss was made in 2017. Long time ago. but I've been updating it every now and again. Hopefully, the last iteration. The last iteration I did on it was 2019 or 2020. I think 2019. These assets are the same since 2017. This asset. Okay. See this? I drew this background at a conference one day before I was demoing the game at PAX in a talk given by Rami Ismail. I was like half paying attention to the talk, half banging out this background because I was demoing the game the next day at PAX. I was like, oh, that's really interesting, Rami. Obviously from the audience, not from. I didn't meet the guy, but I was demoing like literally the next day on the indie show floor at PAX Rising. That was fun. Rami, he's a game dev, popular indie dev. This guy, Vlambia. You ever heard of Vlambia? They made a bunch of games. He mostly does sort of like game dev advocacy these days, I guess. Vlambia made a bunch of games. This kind of thing. They broke up, I think, in 2019 or something, 2020. Won a bunch of awards. All right. I think I'm going to go. I think that's the last change that I had. Oh, I don't have a fight ending. So we did the health bar. We solved the health bar problem. And then we need some sort of ending for the fight before we go into the after fight beat. I know what the ending should be. Maybe I can solve this like right now. Wait, what? Boss is alive.
Hey Adam, with such a long journey and I
Hey.
assume some legacy code, how do you manage to keep it bug-free as well as remember the code?
TTS, welcome. It's not bug-free. But I have a really good memory for code. I don't know why. It's pretty, like, I think I'm quite consistent with the way that I write code. And most of the code was written in a very traumatic way. It took a lot, like I was like really working through it. So I have a good memory for it because it was all meaningful. And I guess when you work on your code every day, you run into the bugs, you just iron them out as you go. Yeah, like I've literally gotten through this whole game pretty comfortably. I mean, look, it's hard to say because like I've learned a lot, and I know that obviously 8 years is a long time to be working on a game. So when I say I'm having a good time and it feels comfortable, like maybe I've just got a very high tolerance for this kind of thing. Hey, that was pretty good. That was pretty good right there. That was a really good start. Why is this so hard? Oh, because it's not an engine scene. Oh, yeah. I gotta check this. Okay, I know what to do here. I'm gonna write it down and then I'm gonna go. And then I'm gonna go. Okay. Fix boss scene ending. Unload engine if scene is not in scene instance collection. As a game scene. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you, pals. It was fun. This was a good one. Made a lot of progress today. The boss is way better. Let's raid Jitsbo. He's a good guy. I'll see you tomorrow, huh? Yo, if you like my content, go ahead and wishlist Insignia. That helps me out a lot if you're interested in the game, to know that you are. And yeah, have a good rest of your night or morning or whatever it is, wherever you are. All right, that's it. See you tomorrow. As always, I've been Adam, you've been the Pixel Pals. This has been the IndieTales Game Dev live stream. Until next time.